Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, we're back again with Blake, Bulletproof Troop, to get his reaction to the Floyd Mayweather versus Tenshin Nasukawa.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Nasukawa fight, and also the Ben Askren Demetrious Johnson trade, what these things mean for MMA. Blake, let's start off with the Floyd Mayweather fight, man. What do you think about all this?
So the Floyd Mayweather thing, I just heard about that today. I saw a post, something talking about it, and I clicked on it. Or I saw somebody mentioning Conor McGregor talking about it, and so I clicked on it, and I was surprised to hear. And so, hey, slow down, Tiger Dog. So I was surprised to hear about him signing with Rizin for a fight against a Japanese kickboxer. I'm still unsure what the rule set is. I think in terms of a fight, if it's an MMA fight or anything but a boxing match for Floyd, I think it's a very stupid thing for him to sign.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
what are you?
Oh, yeah.
That's not for you, Tiger Dog. Hey, so I think if it's anything but a boxing fight, Floyd Mayweather's in for a bad night. Even so, it surprises me he would sign anything, even not a boxing fight, against anybody that's not a big name, because he's got a lot to lose. And in a fight, a striking contest, bro, everybody's got a puncher's chance. That's why they call it a puncher's chance. Despite the guy looking like he's like 15 years old, you know.
Definitely, I'm not thinking there's going to be any kind of kicks going on in this fight.
I'd be surprised, or even takedowns. The guy might be a kickboxer, but fuck, if he trains wrestling for a month.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the fuck Floyd, I mean, even if it was wrestling, Floyd's got great footwork and ring generalmanship, and there's ropes in Rizin, not a cage. You know, I think a cage is another big advantage an MMA fighter would have in the UFC over Floyd. Ropes, not as much.
Yeah.
You know, so it really depends on the rule set, but I think it's a really dangerous fight for Floyd no matter what, because the guy's a nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say he's a nobody in every sport, but in the grand scheme of the world, the guy's a nobody.
For sure.
You know, I'm curious as to how much they're paying Floyd then.
I'm thinking it's a lot, man.
I couldn't imagine it being more than he'd be making like in some of his boxing fights and stuff. I think they're trying to kind of steal some of those fans though. And you know, and a big thing, hey, come back here, and that I'm always talking about is marketing. If you noticed, Floyd had on the Filipino flag on his hat, where he's out there trying to market to a brand new demographic of people that's, I wouldn't say untapped, but who's the mega superstar from Japan out of boxing? Or China?
Yeah.
Or the Philippines. Okay, you got Manny Pacquiao, you know, but fuck, those lists are pretty small. You're talking about a huge fighting Hey, come back here. Huge fighting populations that this guy's out there pandering to, essentially.
Yeah.
Where is he fighting? He's fighting in a Japanese promotion against a Japanese fighter wearing Filipino flags. You know, the guy's out there. And when I saw it, I was like, get that money, Floyd, because that's what he's doing. He's out there turning himself into a bigger star around the world, in Asia, which he might potentially be fighting in Asia if he fights Khabib, which, in my opinion, is his smartest fight. You get a bunch of Japanese people that are now a fan of yours because you beat a Japanese whatever, and then you go fight in Russia. The draw, I would imagine, would be bigger for him then. But
what about Macau, doing a fight in Macau?
Yeah.
Maybe dwarf Vegas, you know what I mean?
It's possible, you know.
I think maybe, you know, and this goes to what you were saying about the Filipino flag. I'm thinking maybe he got a taste of those Filipino fans when he fought Pacquiao. He saw how passionate they were. I think he got a lot of fans out of that fight, and maybe he's capitalizing.
Absolutely. I mean, beating their hometown guy, I mean, initially he's probably going to get a lot of hate, but it's going to expand his brand no matter what. And like the Filipinos are a fight like culture, a lot like the Mexican culture. Like in the Philippines, dude, boxing's big, stick fighting's fucking huge, knife fighting, like that's a fight culture. The same with like Mexican. Like I'd almost say Filipinos are as hard to fight fans as like Hawaiians, Mexicans. Like there's a handful. You know, even Brazilians is a big fight culture. You know, where it's pandering to a demographic to get people to. The more fans you got, the more money you're probably making.
True. That's
you
true.
know. So I really see it as a marketing. Obviously, it's a marketing thing for him to be fighting an MMA fight, or even a boxing fight at an MMA show. You know, I'm really interested to see who ends up getting the next Floyd fight that's like a real fight. Not that Khabib boxing would be a real fight, but at least it's against a real opponent, and that's something that's really going to be marketed bigger and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I know you're big on marketing, but is this going too far with the sort of gimmicky fights, the crossover fights? Is that getting played out? I mean, is there a point where we say no more of this?
I mean, my opinion on that is money talks.
Yeah.
If people, what was the pay-per-view for Floyd McGregor?
Insane. Yeah, that was insane.
You know, what's the next fight? Let's see what Khabib, Mayweather's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, money talks.
You think that fight's going to happen?
It wouldn't surprise me. I think that Floyd is in a position, or it could be where if he fights in Russia, he can almost bully the fight into happening in Russia because they're so close to Russia and just getting paid a fucking absurd amount.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he can't finish Khabib, bro, you're fighting a Russian hero in Russia. You might kick the shit out of him. I've seen people kick the shit out of people and lose a decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, come here.
Where'd he go?
There he is. Sorry, he's a little. Hey, slow down.
Tiger dog, you said.
Yeah, Timon.
I like it.
But so, do I think they'll stop happening? No, because I think that a big thing about fights and people talking is speculation.
Yeah.
If a fight can actually happen, or there's like it gets lined up, then there's less speculation. But you start talking about champion versus champion, who would win that?
Does it hurt the game on some level though, or is it all good?
I mean, if you want to say I think a lot of things hurt yes. Would I say that it hurts the game in terms of a standpoint of people staying in the sport, fighting number one contenders, defending their belts, and the best guy being the champion? Mm-hmm. Yes. But the thing is, it's an entertainment industry. No. It's about fucking dollars, bro. It's a for-profit entertainment industry. It's a for-profit industry that makes more money the more entertaining it is.
No.
So it doesn't really matter who the number one contenders are and shit like that. It matters who's going to pay to see what, in my opinion.
I love it, man.
But do I think that impacts the sport negatively? Yes. You know, like, and I talk a lot about Conor McGregor because he's a perfect example, but Conor didn't deserve to get his title shot, I didn't think. I thought he got skyrocketed through the rankings. He beat, he was like 16 and beat like 11 and got moved up to like ranked 5th when he beat Seaver. Like, and I'm not going to say, and I bring Conor up, and I don't say it because the guy can't fight. The guy can for sure fight. Yeah. But his marketability and stuff is what shot him up. Same thing with why he got the Mayweather fight, like we talked about last time.
For sure.
The marketability and people tuning in is why you're going to have a 0-0, never had an amateur fight in boxing, arguably one of the best ever. I don't consider him the best ever, but he's for sure in the contention where if you're talking about people that are fucking greats, you know, you got to he's at least for sure in the conversation. The reason those two fought, money.
Yeah.
Money and entertainment. The reason why they went around the world doing press conferences over and over. How many motherfucking times do you need to see the two people talk about fighting? With them, I wanted to watch it 5 fucking times.
Yeah, for sure.
How many times you watch other people? How many times you know, like, there's a lot of other people where I don't want to see you talk about it once.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, I watched every single one of those bitches, and they were
great,
like an hour long.
Yeah, it was great. So
it's about, does it hurt the sport? Yes and no. And like, if you want to talk about it from a purity of the sport and the number one guy being the champion and stuff, yes. But if you want to talk about it in the position of growing the sport and making more money for the sport and stuff like that, then no. Like it's all about perspective, and each thing's gonna have its pluses and minuses. You know, like, and the people that are gonna sit there and be like, it's bullshit. The number, hey motherfucker, well, why don't you take notes and learn how you can get some fucking better end of the stick treatment too?
Agreed. Hey, I mean, very well put. And I'd like to bring up Artem Lobov because he's kind of marketable by association, if you will. You know what I mean? So that goes to all that. I think he's a prime example of how important marketing is. He wouldn't be anywhere near where he's at, without McGregor's marketing. Let's shift over to this Ben Askren Demetrious Johnson thing. What does this mean for the game, man?
I mean, I would say where we were at in the last conversation is a perfect shift into that, because Demetrious Johnson, if you want to ask me if you're talking about greatest of all time fighters, another guy who's in that conversation. Do I think he's the greatest of all time? I think it comes down to personal taste.
Yeah.
Put the guys in the conversation. I'll tell you this. He's way the fuck better than Ben Askren is. You know, neither guy, in my opinion, is as extremely exciting because they don't really put guys away.
Yeah.
But when DJ does it, it's an incredible highlight reel fashion. When he put away Ray Borg with that black
that
body
was
slam,
amazing, man.
Fucking beautiful. Like, well, you don't see motherfuckers doing
Yeah,
pretty
that was
shit like that.
amazing, man. That
you
was
know?
amazing.
And but the thing is, the entire division of 125 pounds, how often do you see finishes then? You can be a 125 pounder and hit somebody as hard as you fucking can. And there's a good chance that motherfucker's getting back up.
Yeah.
You're 55, 70, 85, 205, and you hit a motherfucker medium hard.
It's a problem, yeah.
Where you don't see the finishes. Same thing with like a lot of the, not that girls can't knock, but the weight behind a 115 pound girl. So you start getting up to 135. Cyborg, you start seeing some of that knockout power.
Yeah.
Below that, especially in guys, you know, I mean, even 35, I'm surprised they see as many knockouts as you do with 35.
Yeah.
But you look at how those motherfuckers are swinging. Fucking Cody Garbrandt's motherfucking
Hell yeah,
everything
dude,
you can into that. Where as you get bigger, if you saw a 205 throwing just like rah, Cody Garbrandt style,
Oh, man.
you know, there's just, you don't even have to throw that hard to get the knockouts. So I don't think you see as many of the finishes. The guys are so quick and squirmy that I don't think that they get the appreciation because their knowledge of fighting isn't there in a lot of the casual fans.
Yeah.
But it is more so in Asia. And there's a lot more small dudes over there. So I could see DJ being a bigger star there. You know, Ben Askren, I don't think he's a very exciting fighter. I think he's relatively boring. He's a great fighter, and he's won a lot of fights. And I'm not going to say he's not a good fighter. He's absolutely a good fighter, and he's a champion in Bellator and won. But what is it? Everybody been talking about with Ben Askren? They've been talking about his wrestling since he got signed.
Yeah.
Or they've been talking about these videos. Hello from the Askren side, and all this tweeting. That's what they're talking about.
The tweeting is really entertaining.
That's what he's in. So he's bringing that outside the cage marketability in his own, which, I mean, I don't know him personally, but it seems like he's kind of that shit talker, which is why he got on Dana's shitty side, like, where he's out there doing these extra things, like, and very similar to the promos I'm cutting. Hello from the Askren side, where he's like sitting there singing a little song. It's very similar marketing techniques that I'm utilizing.
And you know, you don't have to be necessarily an entertaining fighter as long as you're entertaining, right? Because I mean, Floyd Mayweather's fights, I mean, let's be honest, some of those fights were boring as hell.
4 fights.
Yeah. I mean, they've been boring.
He usually knocks people out. He could be entertaining a little bit, but fuck his Ngannou, not exciting.
No.
Volkov, not exciting.
Not until the very last second.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure, yeah, no, for
Derek
sure.
Lewis has millions of followers on Instagram, and I bet you more people saw and heard about his post-fight speech
Oh yeah.
than the fight. My balls was hot. That's
so
fucking
good,
through
dude.
the roof. But the whole 14 minutes and 50 seconds, you're just like, holy shit, really?
That was good.
That
shit,
outside
man.
the cage marketing, man, you know. And so I think a big thing to be taken from that is you can be a fucking one of the GOATs and get traded for a guy who's pretty good because of marketability.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody seems happy with the trade. So, like, I mean, I don't know the details of the trade, their last contracts, what their position is with the UFC and stuff. I don't know. Excuse me. So, I can't say that I know the whole picture and here's what's going on. But from where I'm sitting, that's what I'm reading from that's how I'm reading between the lines about it. Is you can be one of the arguable best evers who's never had any weird controversies with his name.
Yeah.
You know, and only lost to other guys who have been in that talk. You know, Henry Cejudo will be in that talk.
Yeah.
You know, and then Dominic Cruz, who's fucking...
He's a beast.
You know, where it's like...
Yeah.
You know? So it's...
I like that you brought up the stature. I think a lot of people are going to leave that out, not even think about that. But that was one of the things that came to mind to me. He's heading to Asia where, you know, usually the fighters there are probably a little bit smaller than the guys out here in the United States. And I think, you know, that's an interesting aspect of this trade.
Well, it's the average North American size person versus the average.
I think it's going to be interesting, you know, and I'd like to see how he fares out there.
I think he'll do very well. Like I said, I think I would put him in the top 5. For me, Anderson Silva's the GOAT. Again, I don't think it's been the same fight he was later on in his career, but if you're talking prime Anderson Silva, that's who I give it to.
Nothing to do with training at Black House.
I can't say that it doesn't have a bias. I can't say that it doesn't have a biased effect.
Yeah.
I mean, it likely does. If I go watch fights, I want to see my friends win, you know, like, so I can't say that it doesn't have that that there's not that bias effect. I'm sure.
Are you excited as a fighter that these trades might continue happening?
I am interested to see what it does to the sport in terms of opening up super fights. Because to me, it seems like it's a one step towards better relationships between promotions. You know, and there's not an HBO heavyweight boxing champion. You know, there's like where they'll put the shows on there where you start seeing champions of, you know, like WBO versus, like, where you can start seeing different boxing champions fighting. I would be interested to start seeing some super fights between, I mean, obviously right now there's not as many big things between, I mean, Bellator, UFC, one's got some smaller guys where I'd be interested to see some type of super fight stuff happen, you know?
Yeah.
Whoever the winner of the 170-pound tournament is, I'd be interested to see them fight a 170-pound UFC champ, potentially.
How do you think Askren does in the UFC?
I think he gets booed a lot. I think that you can... I'm interested to see how he changes his game. But laying and praying in the UFC, it's not going to go over well. With how excited and how much drama you're bringing, or like anticipation he's bringing to his fight and his debut, hey, that's not for you.
He's not drinking our whiskey, is he?
No, he was looking at the pickles though. But yeah, so I think it really depends on how he decides to come out and fight. You know, I'm entertained by watching him fight. And another thing about him coming from one and Asia, and this isn't a knock on American MMA fans and stuff, but I don't think they have the same appreciation and understanding of the ground game and that aspect of it as they do in Asia. You know, and I think they have more patience there for that type of stuff. Where here, if it starts getting boring, motherfuckers are going to start booing.
Yeah.
You know? Not that if it hits the ground, everyone tunes out. But if you're not doing a whole lot on the ground, so unless he turns up the heat on the ground or starts getting a little more wild standing, I don't really know. But if he comes and tries to lay and prey on people in the UFC, it's probably not going to go over very well for him. That's what I think his problem's going to be. And I mean, I guess the double-edged sword of trying to get people to tune in and know your name and stuff with all the tweeting and stuff is you put yourself in a position where you need to perform, which can be a double-edged sword. Like, maybe you're good at that, maybe you're not. I like pressure. I do better under pressure. But how far he's made it and all his competing and stuff, I bet he's good under pressure too. But if the same Ben Askren's coming from ONE FC that will grind out decisions as opposed to like really, I mean, if it goes to decision, it goes to decision. But if you're not trying to fucking put people away and stuff, like, the fans get restless. If you're just on top, head in the guy's chest and patting a little bit, the fans are not gonna be big fans of that, no matter how many funny promos and songs you put out. You know?
Well, Blake, man, I appreciate your time so much. Another intriguing interview. Yeah. Man, I look forward to talking to you again soon, my man.
Absolutely, brother.
Be sure to smash that like button. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button to continue to support Fighters Rep. Thank you very much.